Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Today is Judgment Day for Margaret Ferrier, and the result is in. You may recall that she travelled during COVID lockdown, indeed travelled whilst having COVID, and this was in contravention of the very rules that she helped draft and voted in. Well, they handed her a 30-day suspension, which of course she immediately appealed. She was aware that any suspension longer than 10 days would mean a by-election. And so she has lost her appeal. The appeals process was announced today and she was unhappy, I suspect. It does mean, of course, now that the petition goes out to see if 10% of the electorate in Rutherglen and Hamilton West want an election. And it's already been assured by Labour that they have the 10% that they need. And indeed, with the Lib Dems and the Conservatives each going out to their supporters, it is almost certain that that will be reached and that there will be a by-election. And so therefore, Margaret will be out looking for a new job. Although who would employ her? Anyway, we'll take a look at this, see what's going on, see what what is likely to happen over the next few days with all these petitions, and see why she lost her appeal. Here goes. So, Margaret Ferrier loses the appeal against the Commons suspension. Margaret Ferrier has lost her appeal to have a suspension from the House of Commons overturned for breaking COVID rules. And the decision means a by-election in Rutherglen and Hamilton West has moved a step closer. Of course, really, I think she knew she was going to lose anyway. I think the main reason she appealed is that it takes time to appeal. She retains her MP salary for that time, and that just gives her another chance to try and salt away a bit more money. Because obviously, who the hell is going to pay her anything like what she earns as an MP? Especially an MP who broke the rules and was effectively fired by her constituents. She's going to make a hard job of trying to convince somebody to hire her on any kind of reasonable wage. Miss Ferrier, who sits as an independent after losing the SNP whip, received a community payback order after she admitted travelling by train from London to Scotland, following a positive COVID test in 2020. A Westminster Standards watchdog then recommended a 30-day suspension, a sanction which of course she appealed. And the appeal to Parliament's independent expert panel has been rejected. Because of course it has. Because there's no reason for her to appeal this other than, like I say, to keep her salary going. Because the facts speak for themselves. She had COVID. It was the lockdown. She travelled. End of story. There is nothing there to appeal. The report stated, for the reasons set out in its decision, Section 2 of this report, the sub-panel dismissed Miss Ferrier's appeal at the first stage of appeal. That, while the grounds fell broadly within the grounds of appeal as set out in the procedural protocol, none of the grounds had substance and the sanction imposed was neither unreasonable nor disproportionate. As I'm saying that, I'm imagining Humphrey Appleby from Yes Minister, because it is the typical kind of language, that's used. Oh, it fell broadly within the grounds of the appeal set out, blah, blah, blah. It's all waffle, isn't it? Anyway, the fact is, what they could have said is, you lost your appeal, you're out. Sums it up, really, doesn't it? So the panel concluded that the committee's recommendation of sanction is upheld. That is to say, 30-day ban, and then she has to face a by-election appeal, assuming that the 10% of the electorate sign the petition. Let me tell you, they are all out canvassing their supporters, every single one of them. They'll be whizzing round there, sign here, sign here. People in the street, here, just sign this. They'll get them. They will undoubtedly get 10%. If the suspension is agreed by a vote in the Commons, it would automatically trigger a recall petition, which, if successful, would see her sacked as an MP and an election in the seat is called. Yes, this works like this. It goes to the House and they have their vote. And the House will vote on this, and it will undoubtedly pass the sanction. There's no way it won't pass the sanction. And the moment the sanction is passed, that is the effective moment that she is fired. If she's in the House as an MP, at the vote, probably being the only one who votes for herself, she's entitled to vote for herself, which is a very weird thing. But anyway, she's entitled to vote. She goes in, she votes, comes out. As soon as they reach the vote and the count's done, and then the Speaker announces the result, if it's not in her favour, that moment, bang, she ceases to be an MP. She is escorted from the floor of the House. She's basically given the cardboard box and has to do the shuffle out the door of shame. it's quite brutal, but that's how it is. You know, if you break the rules, you pay the consequences. Anyway, Scottish Labour, who selected teacher Michael Shanks to fight any by-election, they believes that they can take the seat they last won in 2017. And no, I've said this before, that's not Michael Shanks from Stargate. Miss Ferrier won the seat in 2019 with a 5,230 majority. And last week it emerged the SNP had not selected a by-election candidate for the constituency. Now, if this vote goes through, and it'll go through in the next few days, it won't take long to go to the floor, you could have a by-election called within days, so let's say within 10 days from now. They haven't got anyone lined up. And given how awful they select people, given the story this morning, it's unlikely that they're going to get anyone of any kind of quality to stand, which means that it'll just be some no-hoper thrown into a seat. And the people of Rutherglen and West and Hamilton West will not take kindly to that. And also they may feel obliged to punish the SNP for what has happened with Margaret Ferrier. So, you know, it's a very, very tight run thing. And given also the fact that Labour seem to have the momentum in that constituency, it wouldn't be surprising if it becomes a Labour seat. Anyway, the Times reported that First Minister and SNP leader Humza Yousaf rejected a slate of local candidates and entered into talks with alternative would-be MPs. A contender to succeed Miss Ferrier was due to have been chosen by Friday, May the 12th, but the SNP paused the selection process. What's happening here, and this is something else, what's happening here is all these people are rushing. They want to be this SNP MP. Oh, it's my turn. I want to do it. They're looking at these people, but they're so appallingly bad. They've got terrible track records. They've got social media where they've posted things that's offensive. They're looking at these things, and they literally are unelectable. And they know that any of these people that they've put up, as soon as they mention the name, they will be ripped to shreds because of things they've said, done, or the stances they've taken on various things. This is the quality of the SNP at the moment. Anyway, commenting on Miss Ferrier losing her appeal, Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Jackie Bailey, always good for a comment, said, with this news, the by-election that the people of Rutherglen and Hamilton West need has moved one step closer. It is simply disgraceful that this community has been left without proper representation due to the actions of Margaret Ferrier. Only by electing Michael Shanks as Scottish Labour MP for Rutherglen and Hamilton West can the people of the area get the representation and the clean start they deserve. At the coming by-election, only Scottish Labour is standing for change. Join us on that journey. Scottish Lib Dem Democrat leader Wendy Chamberlain MP said, at a time when so many Scots were staying home to keep themselves and others safe, Margaret Ferrier acted with real recklessness. Today's news takes us one step closer to a recall petition and a long overdue by-election. And it does. And that's where there are. That's what's going to happen. So she is still an MP. It has to, as I say, has to go to a vote in the Commons, but that's only days away. They'll have that vote. She will undoubtedly lose. The House of Commons will vote for it to stand. She will be gone. She's out. She's done. And then within days they'll have the petition signed back presented, and then they'll call a by-election. And as I say, I mean, it looks like it's going to be the Labour Party winning that by-election, just given sort of current trends and the fact that people really want to give the SNP a bit of a bloody nose over the whole debacle. But anyway, we'll round off there. I'll come on up and we'll finish the video. These people must have an absolute sense of entitlement. They bring in rules for us, the plebs, the hoi polloi. Rules that they seem to think don't apply to them. And then they're absolutely shocked when they find out that they do apply to them and that it causes them more grief than they can ever imagine. Imagine how the rest of us felt when we were having all this imposed upon us. We never voted for it. You did. That's the difference. She voted for it. I didn't get a vote. And then she breaks the rules. Good. Let's hope she goes and cries her little heart out, thinking, oh, if only I wasn't entitled. If only I'd followed the rules that I helped and voted in. Still, no sympathy whatsoever. And, of course, it's another SNP supporter off to join all the others who who are no longer in power. It's excellent. Every day seems to be another one going out, losing another councillor here, losing an MP there. It is fantastic, isn't it? And they slowly are whittling them down until eventually the SNP will have no power whatsoever and Scotland can start to heal. Until such a time, I shall continue watching them. And so I hope will you. And I shall round there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. But mostly leave a like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. Whoever you vote for, don't vote for the SNP. And goodbye.